The paper coffee cup slipped from Jacob's hand and rolled across the pavement before he even realized he had let go of it. 3 little girls stood in front of him, dressed in matching navy coats, their cheeks pink from the autumn air, staring at the tattoo on his forearm with wide, curious eyes. For a moment, the noise of the crowded playground faded into silence. His heart pounded so hard it felt painful. What would you do if 3 strangers suddenly said something that reached into the deepest wound of your life? Would you dismiss it as coincidence, or would you chase the possibility that everything you believed was lost might somehow still be waiting for you? Jacob had spent the last 7 years carrying a grief that never truly left him. Living in Ohio, he worked long shifts as a construction supervisor and spent most evenings alone in a small apartment overlooking a busy highway. People saw a strong man with broad shoulders and a quiet smile, but they never saw the loneliness he hid behind it. Years earlier, he had fallen deeply in love with a young woman named Sarah. They had dreamed about marriage, children, and a future together. Then life had taken an unexpected turn. Sarah disappeared from his life after a misunderstanding fueled by fear, family pressure, and circumstances neither of them knew how to overcome. Phone numbers changed. Letters went unanswered. Time moved forward, but Jacob's heart remained trapped in the past. The tattoo on his arm was the only thing he never regretted. It was a simple compass surrounded by tiny wildflowers. Sarah had the same design on her shoulder. They had gotten them together during a road trip through Tennessee, when they were young and convinced that nothing could separate them. Whenever Jacob looked at it, he remembered laughter, promises, and a love that once felt unbreakable. That Saturday afternoon he had come to the park simply to enjoy the sunshine after another exhausting week. He sat on a bench drinking coffee. When the triplets approached him, they looked no older than 6. One pointed directly at his tattoo, while the other 2 nodded excitedly. They explained that their mother had one exactly like it. Jacob forced a smile at first, assuming they were mistaken. Thousands of people had tattoos. Coincidences happened every day. Then one of the girls mentioned that their mother's tattoo also had 3 tiny stars hidden among the flowers. Jacob froze. His tattoo had those same stars. The stars represented 3 wishes Sarah once shared with him during that long-ago road trip. No artist would have added them accidentally. A cold wave rushed through his body. Before he could ask another question, a woman came running across the playground. Her face carried alarm, embarrassment, and exhaustion all at once. The moment Jacob looked up, the world seemed to stop turning. It was Sarah. Time had changed both of them. There were faint lines near her eyes and traces of hardship written across her expression, yet he recognized her instantly. The same eyes, the same gentle features, the same presence that had once made him believe anything was possible. Sarah stopped several feet away. Neither of them spoke. Around them, children laughed and played, leaves drifted from trees, and parents chatted on benches. Yet it felt as though they were standing alone in another world. The truth emerged slowly over the next few hours. After they lost contact years earlier, Sarah had discovered she was pregnant. Terrified and unable to reach Jacob, she tried repeatedly to find him. His old number no longer worked. His family had moved away. Every lead ended in disappointment. Eventually, she accepted that she would have to raise the children alone. The triplets Olivia, Grace, and Hannah were his daughters. Jacob listened in stunned silence. 7 years of unanswered questions suddenly had answers. 7 years of missed birthdays, missed first steps, missed bedtime stories. The weight of those lost years crashed onto him all at once. He looked at the girls playing nearby and felt a grief deeper than anything he had ever known. They were his children. They carried pieces of him in their smiles, their expressions, even the way they tilted their heads while listening. But alongside the grief came something else. Hope for the first time in years. Hope. Life had not been easy for Sarah. She worked 2 jobs, often sleeping only a few hours each night. Bills piled up, There were moments when she worried about keeping the lights on. The girls never fully understood how much their mother sacrificed to give them stability. Sarah carried every burden alone because she believed she had no other choice. Jacob felt tears sting his eyes as she described those years. He realized that while he had been mourning the family he thought he lost, Sarah had been fighting every day to protect that family. The weeks that followed were complicated. Trust does not magically return after years apart. There were legal processes, difficult conversations, awkward introductions, and emotional setbacks. The girls were excited but confused. They suddenly had a father they had never known. Jacob wanted to make up for lost time, but he also understood that relationships could not be forced. So he started small. Saturday breakfasts, park visits, homework help, movie nights. Slowly, the girls began to open their hearts. Olivia loved drawing and constantly filled notebooks with sketches. Grace asked endless questions about everything she saw. Hannah preferred sitting quietly beside him while reading books. Each new memory felt like a precious gift. Months turned into a year. The empty apartment that once echoed with loneliness became filled with laughter, crayons, backpacks, and tiny shoes by the door. Jacob attended school performances, soccer games, and parent-teacher meetings. He learned how to braid hair badly and how to survive tea parties with stuffed animals. More importantly, he learned that fatherhood was not about recovering lost years. It was about being present for the years ahead. Sarah watched the transformation carefully. She saw the consistency, the effort, the patience. For the first time in a very long time, she allowed herself to believe she no longer had to carry every burden alone. One evening, after a school concert, the five of them walked through a neighborhood illuminated by Christmas lights. Snowflakes drifted gently from the sky. The girls ran ahead laughing while Sarah and Jacob followed behind. Neither of them spoke for a moment. They simply watched their daughters. Then Sarah reached for Jacob's hand. A simple gesture. Yet it carried 7 years of pain, forgiveness, and healing. Some wounds never disappear completely. Lost time cannot be recovered. Missed birthdays remain missed birthdays. Empty years remain empty years. But life sometimes offers something remarkable. A second chance, not because anyone deserves it. Not because everything becomes perfect. But because love, when it survives hardship, can build something stronger than what existed before. Years later, Jacob would often think back to that autumn afternoon in the park. A random moment, a chance encounter, 3 little girls noticing a tattoo, such a small thing. Yet it changed everything. Because sometimes the greatest miracles do not arrive with flashing lights or dramatic signs. Sometimes they arrive in the voices of children who unknowingly carry the answers to prayers whispered long ago. Before you go, tell us in the comments. If you were Jacob, would you have believed the triplets right away, or would you have thought it was only a coincidence? And if this story truly touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe so more people can experience the power of forgiveness, hope, and second chances.